So this is going to be my new user interface for Fleeting Notes. I'm looking for feedback, so yeah, I'd appreciate it if you just go in the comments and let something down below. So basically how I'm going to start this off, you'll see over here, here's the script that I'm going to follow. And second point, I'm going to walk through the workflows for the mobile and desktop version. I'm just going to go straight through to the browser extension. Right here, I have the new version of the user interface installed in the browser extension. And you can see as I open it, I immediately come to this screen, which is very similar from before. If there's like a search bar at the side and there's a place to type in the middle. So that's the same thing for this user interface over here. There's like a search bar at the side. You can like search your notes on over here. You can type like new notes on the right side. So how it works when you share a note to Fleeting Notes. So for example, over here, I'm gonna like highlight this section of text over here and share it by opening the screen. You'll see that rather than just showing the screen itself, it pops up a new dialog for where the note is shared to. That's how that works. And then you see as you close that dialog, you'll see like a new card pop up, which is like the note that you viewed. After you view a note, for example, if I click like Markdown example, and close that, I'll see a bunch of markdown text. It'll actually populate into this thing called like a note carousel. This is like what that looks like. I'll talk a little bit more about like why I decided to go about this route later, but like this is essentially the workflow for sharing a note. As for searching, like I demonstrated earlier, you just type in the search bar and then you can search for whatever you want. You can see here too, like there's backlinks that you can click into and it'll open a new dialog. As you like go through the entire process, you'll see that this note carousel will be populated with like all the notes that you viewed. So if I click Markdown example, it'll basically populate it with the most recent viewed notes, which is Markdown example. What's great about it is that it'll actually render the Markdown as you'd expect it to. So like here's a link, for example, I can click into the link. Can go like Dart programming language. I can click this link over here to open another link. That's pretty good. So now I'm going to go into a little bit about like the mobile version for sharing. It's slightly different. So I'm just going to like walk you through like how that looks. I'm actually not going to go like open a phone up because it's hard for me at this time. So instead, I'm going to show you how that works by like highlighting a note. So I'm going to just like quote unquote share a note to like the mobile version. And the mobile version is essentially like a shrunk down version of the browser extension. So you'll see over here, if I click save highlight, it'll open a new window with like alternative and what it would look like in the mobile version if you shrink it down like this. It'll just basically only have that dialog like shrunk down into that screen. And then when you click X on that dialog, you'll see that like this viewed note is actually like populated into like this thing. So if you click another note and then you go back, you'll see like, oh, there's like two things and you can like scroll through it by like dragging back and forth. So like that's basically the mobile version. Oh yeah, how it works when you just have the mobile version without actually having viewed any notes, you'll see just the list of your search notes. So it'll be the same as searching. Whereas if you click into it and you actually have a viewed note, it'll show you that note that you viewed. But otherwise, it'll show you like the search screen and the list of notes that you have. Hopefully that makes sense. Basically, those are the two workflows for mobile and desktop versions. And now I'm going to go explain a little bit of the design choices and why like I chose what I did. Over here, you'll see that we first start off with this side of the page. We start off with like a note editor right when you first open the app. And actually, like I think you saw this earlier, but if you click into a note and you view a note, like it'll get rid of that note editor. And the reason why I decided to go about that workflow is because usually there's like two things that you do when you open the app. In most cases, you want to just create a new note. In some cases, you are maybe searching for something or brainstorming. Knowing that there's these two workflows, like most of the time, you're just going to be like taking new notes, adding like this whole screen for you to write that new note and having like automatically focus there is a lot less confusing than just like having like another page like this where you have to click another button to open a new note. It's just not as fleeting. So that's kind of why I just decided to put the note editor. It makes a lot of sense now that I say it like this, but originally not exactly what I had in mind, but I came to this conclusion. So the next thing that I want to explain, the note editor transforming to a note carousel. So this is the note carousel. I think I mentioned it earlier. You can like slide back and forth. It's a horizontal carousel. And the more notes you add, the more things that you can go through. So I'm just going to view a bunch of notes, and then you're going to see like all the notes I viewed in order. And the reason why I decided to add this and why I felt this was very important was because I wanted to incorporate this like sort of train of thought thing. For me personally, I like to like click between different notes, just like click, 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 click. And then eventually I find myself like somewhere where like, how did I even get here? It's good to be able to like, for me at least, I think it's very useful to be able to go down my train of thought and see like, hey, like how did I get here? Maybe I was like clicking through this link and then click backlinks and everything, and then you can sort of see that same process as I go back between the notes. So that's basically why I decided to go with the note carousel. So the next point is the note dialog and markdown. Over here, like I actually created this note beforehand, is like the markdown example. So the reason why I decided to go about this route where you have like a note dialog like over here where you like click into the note and you can type in everything. First of all, it's kind of hard to create that like live editor, for example, like what Obsidian has, where like as you type it automatically generates that markdown. At the same time, I wanted to show like that markdown at the same time, and I felt that like this was a good solution to like kind of mix the two. So like when you click into the note, you have the ability to edit it like so, and then you can like type whatever you want, like hello world, so it'll populate back into the note carousel. So that's like good and dandy. Another reason why I decided to go with this solution where it opens a dialog is because it just seems like a lot more fleeting, and like that's how this app was made to be written. Like it wasn't really meant for extensive like note taking. You want to just like take a quick note and just like have it down right away. I think like Google Keep does this as well, where I found it very cool how as you like typed your notes, like they would just open a dialog and you just type that and then you just close the dialog and then it would save automatically. It just like showed like, oh, this is not meant to be for formatting. Like you can do like formatting, all the cool stuff, but like the main purpose is just like get notes as fast as possible. And I thought this was like a way to sort of communicate that. Finally, we have over here, the next thing I want to talk about is the mobile screen switching from the search screen to the note carousel. I'm just gonna go show you what that looked like. I showed you this a little bit earlier, but I'm gonna go through it again. So you see over here, you have the search screen, search whatever you want. I'm just gonna click Mount Everest. And then once I click through that, you can see that it doesn't show that search screen anymore from the main page. So normally when you click this, you'll see the search screen where you have like a list of like these like mini cards where it shows like all the notes that you have and you can search through them. And you'll see that originally after you view a note, you'll only see like the note carousel and like the main page. So this is the mobile view, by the way. And the reason why I decided to go with this route was because originally I had like icon in the middle going like, hey, like here's where your new viewed notes go. But like I figured if I'm just gonna put a little icon here, like I may as well just like put notes for people to click. Like I may as well have like the search screen or like a list of notes for people to click rather than telling people like something will appear here. Maybe it's like a little bit confusing, like, hey, like why is my screen changing and stuff like that. So like it'd be great to get some feedback on this, but I felt it was a lot more efficient and better use of space to just like populate it with a search screen, and then when you actually view something, for example, I click alternative, populate with like the note carousel, and then let's say click another thing, I'll have like things to scroll through in this carousel. Okay, so finally what I have is the backlinks populating the search. Over here, let's say I click into this note, I click the backlinks, and then I go like, I want to see the backlinks. I want to see like what everything that references this. And when I click see backlinks, it'll just like automatically populate the search. I'll see like all the notes that I've created backlinks for. I felt that this was a lot more effective than actually having like a new like mini drop down in my note card, because like with this, I'm able to reuse like the filters and the different functionalities of the search as opposed to re-implementing that in like a user interface. So like over here, for example, if I want to like sort and filter or sort by like different things and like really figure out like all the backlinks through that method. So let me show you what it looks like in bigger UI or the not mobile UI. So we have over here the backlinks. If I click like see backlinks, I'll see over here like all the backlinks that references to this note. And you can see over here like it's all on the side over here, and here is like the note referencing to that. So that's basically it for this video. That's just like a little rundown of the user interface that I've decided to create. Of course, like this isn't final. I'd love to hear feedback from you guys. Like, what do you guys think about it? And yeah, just like anything at all.